By the end of this video, you'll know how I think you should invest in cameras at every budget, starting with absolutely no money and going way beyond $10,000, including some old cameras that may actually increase in value. So for every camera in this video, 3 questions. Should I buy it? Will I lose money? And can I make money with it? And when we get to collectible cameras, I'll add a 4th. This is the Canon 1DX Mark II. I bought it new. I used it for years. For fashion, portraits, editorial work. It paid for itself very quickly and then kept earning. So did I lose $5,000? On the value of equipment, yeah. On the investment, no. Let's get to what many of you came here for. What should you actually buy? Everything in this next part is digital, but if you came here for the old cameras that are actually going up in value, stay with me, they're coming up and they follow a completely different rule. Every budget I mentioned is for a usable camera and lens. You're not only buying a camera, you're entering a system. If you have no money, use a phone. Use the phone you already own. Look at Dmitry Markov. His camera was stolen while he was working at an orphanage. So he just continued on using an iPhone. And he went on to create an extraordinary body of work and build an audience of almost 1 million people. Or you can borrow a camera. I've lent cameras to people I know. You can learn composition, light, timing, portraiture, and editing with a phone. So, should you buy anything? Not yet. Will you lose money? No. Can you make money? Yes. The client is paying for the result, not for the ownership papers of the camera. $500, this is the smartest money in the video. Say around $500, an old professional camera, a Canon 5D Mark II or Mark III with a 50mm 1.8, a Nikon 610, or if you want to do video mostly, a Panasonic Lumix GH4 with a small prime. These aren't fashionable cameras, and that's precisely why they're interesting. Most of the depreciation has already happened. Now, if you can reach $1,000 to $1,500, I would look very seriously at a Nikon D850 with a used 50mm 1.8. It isn't the camera I would choose for video, but for portraits, fashion, landscapes, products, studio work, it's a huge amount of camera for the money. Other good choices are the Canon 5D Mark IV, Nikon Z6, Sony A7 III, or even my Canon 1DX Mark II. The client won't know whether you made a portrait with a $300 Nikon or a $10,000 Leica. They will know whether the portrait is good. Around $2,000, you can enter current mirrorless cameras. New. You'd have a warranty and support from a shop. My personal choice today, I think, would probably be the Nikon ZF with a little 40mm f.2. In my previous video, I said that if I was starting again, I might buy one camera and a 40mm lens, just one lens. And this is the kind of camera I would get. Small enough to carry around, modern autofocus, full frame, proper controls, and it seems to make you want to use it. I wouldn't choose this camera if I was going to do corporate shoots, a lot of client jobs, but for learning, portraits, street photography, travel, and just enjoying photography, it might be my first choice here. I'd also look really carefully at the Panasonic Lumix S5 II with a 20 to 60mm lens, a Nikon Z5 II with a 40, or the Canon R8 with that little 24 to 50 zoom, or maybe just a 50 1.8. Will you lose money? Yes. Can you make money with them? Absolutely. At around $3,000, you reach what I think is the professional sweet spot. And here, I'm talking about a practical working system. If this were only for my own photography, I might still choose one small prime. But for client work, events, portraits, and video, a good zoom gives you more flexibility. I'd be looking at a Nikon Z6 III with a Nikkor 24 to 120, a Lumix S5 IIX with that Sigma 24 to 70 2.8 art, or a Sony A7 IV with the same Sigma lens, or a Canon R6 Mark III. But the problem with the Canon is that it will suck up the entire $3,000 budget, so it does make more sense if you already own some lenses, or if you start with one inexpensive prime and add more lenses later. At $5,000, the question changes. You can buy a high-end body like a Nikon Z8, Canon R5 Mark II, or a Lumix S1R2 and add one useful lens, or a Sony A7 IV with a 24 to 70. But if this is for paid work, I would even consider 2 slightly less expensive matching bodies instead of one flagship. For weddings, events, corporate films, or any job that can't be repeated, the second body may be more valuable than the extra resolution or speed. A client doesn't care if your camera has the last sensor. If it stops working and you can't finish the job, that's another story. At this level, reliability, lenses, redundancy may be the better investment than the most expensive body. I've never done any far-away photography jobs without two bodies with me. I just want to say one thing. I prefer buying professional equipment new. Not for the warranty, but for the shop. This Phase 1 equipment I bought from Profot in Paris, and when something went wrong on a job and my assistant couldn't solve it, we could call someone at the shop. Often they could fix it over the telephone, and if they couldn't, there was the possibility of getting a replacement quickly. Sometimes the money you pay to a good physical shop isn't just paying for the camera, it's paying for the hour you don't lose when 20 people are standing around waiting for you. At 10,000 and up, the road divides. The time I bought the Canon, I could have put that money into a Leica M camera and a lens. If I'd bought carefully, secondhand, I might have now been able to sell that Leica for close to what I paid, maybe more. That sounds like a better investment, right? I do own some Leica lenses. I know I could sell some of those lenses today for more than I paid, but for photography, I've never earned a single dollar with them. The equipment that kept its value did not earn me anything. A camera that stores its value and a camera that creates income are not necessarily the same camera. You can buy a professional tool, you can buy something you hope will preserve its value, or you can buy the object of your desires that you've always wanted. For earning money, a Hasselblad X2D or a 907X, a Fujifilm GFX, Leica SL, or two complete professional full-frame bodies with good lenses. High-end digital cameras will depreciate heavily. You buy them because of their files, lenses, maybe leaf shutters. A digital Leica M is slightly different. It's a working camera, but it also belongs to a system with a strong collector market and a design that changes much more slowly than most digital cameras. But even a digital Leica is not automatically an investment. The lenses may be the safer part of the system. The most expensive camera can be the cheapest one to own because it earns more than it costs. Everything I've said so far is about digital cameras. Film cameras have become something else. They're tools, but they're also collectible objects. This Rolleiflex may be worth more today than I paid for it. It did not become a better camera. The supply became fixed and more people wanted one. The same thing has happened to Leica M cameras, certain classic Hasselblads, the Rolleiflex f2.8, the 3.5, the Mamiya 7 and 7.2, the Pentax 672, Hasselblad X-Pan, the Contax T2, T3, G2, 645. But now we've got to ask that fourth question. Can it be repaired? A mechanical Leica or Rolleiflex may be serviceable for a very long time. An electronic Contax is a different risk. I had the Contax T3 back in the day. It broke, I got it fixed. Today, I'm not sure I could. I'm not going to tell you which film camera will increase next. Nobody knows. The vintage camera I'd add is the Leica M3, a real beauty. It's mechanical, repairable, historically important, and still one of the most desirable Leica cameras. Working as a fashion photographer, I sometimes found myself at small dinners with models, actors, or musicians, and often the bill for the dinner never arrived. The restaurant owner would come over and say, "It's on the house, it's an honor having you here," blah, blah, something like that. Free for those who can afford it, very expensive for those who can't. And that's the logic of the Leica, or a Rolex, or a Porsche. If you put a large amount of money in the right object, you might use it for years and recover much of the money when you sell. Meanwhile, the person without the capital often buys the cheaper object that depreciates more quickly. Except that cheaper object may be the one that allows them to earn money. Not everything you buy needs to increase in value. Some things give you the return another way. And if you want to know where I think the biggest return in photography really comes from, I made another video about it right here. So please subscribe, especially if you want to follow a photography book project I'm currently developing. And tell me in the comments, what camera did you lose the most money on? And knowing what you know now, would you buy it again? Thank you very much.